can't
Happy
move my hands
Sunday.
by the camera.
Yeah.
I will cause focus issues.
Yeah.
Happy Sunday, everybody.
Yay.
So we have Nettie back. Nettie is feeling better this week, you said?
Yep. Feeling better.
Awesome news. All right, so I'm going to give my real quick intro that we cover cases here that are sometimes very, very gruesome or very hard to hear, but we cover them because we believe the victims deserve their voices to be heard. And sometimes the victims get overshadowed by what the criminal themselves does. So we like to bring attention to the story. With that being said, sometimes there is laughter in these lives because we have a great community that likes to joke and talk, and we enjoy bringing a little bit of light into a dark situation. With that being said, let's jump on into today's program. We'll go on over and say hello to everyone in the chat. I'm trying to get that worded correctly, everyone, but I'm still stumbling. I need to write a little script, I think.
Yeah.
But I've gotten so many comments about that I like to try to touch on it at the beginning. All right. We had Chrissy Mama in here very first thing.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Yeah, she was in here. So shout out to Chrissy Mama. If you have not gone and checked her out, go check her out. Her and her community are so supportive.
Yes.
They really are. And then we, of course, have the beautiful MelNetteLivingFreeZipCodeless. Her channel is always linked in the description. So please, if you're not following her, go and click the link and subscribe. We have Hitch Up and Toe. Hello. Always supportive. Tommy Travels. He helped me find out if a fact was true. So Bulldog's brain is full of a bunch of random knowledge, just random knowledge. And he had told me this past week that giraffes' tongues were purple. And I was like, they are? And he's like, they are. Well, Tommy put out a video and he got to pet a giraffe and feed a giraffe. I think feed a giraffe. And the tongue was eating the carrots out of his hand, and it was indeed purple.
Oh, wow. I knew it was dark, but I didn't realize it was purple.
Yeah, it's like a dark purple. It's really pretty. Oddly, a tongue being pretty, but yeah.
Yeah.
Go check his video out too. All right. We have Linda Barker. Hello. Roy and Becky's Travels. Hello and welcome. Paradox Fossils. Hello. I haven't seen you in a little bit. Hello. I like your new profile picture. We get to see a little glimpse of you. RVBFE. Hello. YouTube actually gave out the notification. That's awesome.
Yay.
Oh, I wanted to pin a comment at the top here real quick before we get started. I am going to be starting the new channel I had talked about last week that's going to tell my story. Oh, yeah, never mind. I'm not on a phone. I'm going to be starting the new channel that I had talked about last week, telling the story. And, oh, shoot. Now I can't find it. And I had it saved. Losing my marbles. Paste? No. Okay, I'll have to find it here in a little bit. I'll find it while we're talking. But anyway, I've started the new channel that is going to tell my story from beginning to end. It'll be more like a vlog channel. It'll have shorter videos, but it's going to be separate from this. And I will pin that in just a little bit. So if anyone wants to go over and hit that subscribe button on it, you'll be like one of my first subscribers. I don't have any right now. 0. So I'll drop that link in a little bit. And then
drop it. I want to subscribe.
I got to find it. I had it pulled up and now I don't have it. So I'll find it when we get going on the story here. All right. So let's jump in. We're going to cover Dylan Rounds. We've covered him before. So if you haven't seen his full story, please go check that video out. Also, but was he 19 when he went missing?
Yeah, he was 19. Yeah.
Okay, so he's 19 and he had his stuff together. He had a
Yeah.
farm. He was just like a hardworking kid and he went missing. So we have some updates to that case and that he was nice enough to put it all together for us.
Yeah.
So let's jump in. I'll let you go first there, Dindy.
Okay. Dylan Brown's parents share new details about their missing son's boots, phone, pistol, and more.
Idaho Falls. The parents of a missing man from eastern Idaho are releasing new details about their son's disappearance and what they've learned since he vanished in May. Also, I do have a new setup going on. I tested it on Friday night, but if you all are hearing an echo or any problems with the stream, please let me know because I'll need to correct that stuff. So if there's any problems, just type those in the comment section. If we're pausing or breaking up at all, just let me know so I can work on fixing that. All right. This is Candace Cooley and Justin Rounds. These are the parents of Dylan Rounds. We have Shanna Craft and Nursing Our Travel Bug. I very much am proud that the parents have come out and are speaking more openly.
Yeah. And Dylan Rounds, who turned 20 on August 1st, was farming in the desert town in Lucian, Utah. His grandmother spoke with him on May 28th, and nobody has heard from him since. There had been no sign of Dylan anywhere and no activity on his cell phone or bank account, according to his parents.
All right. I have the new channel that I'm going to be vlogging on posted in the chat now. All right.
That I'm going to be vlogging on.
Oh, sorry. That was me.
Oh, no. That's okay. I thought it was me for a minute.
I'm like, wait, let me go to the link.
All right. So this is Dylan Rounds. He's such a handsome kid and such a hard worker. This whole thing, I don't know. Like I said, if you have not, was I first? Hitch Up and Toe said, I don't know. I don't have my phone on right now.
You got 3 right now. I wasn't the first.
Thank you all for doing that. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you, Nursing Our Travel Bug. Thank you, everybody. All right. Chase Venstra, 41, and James Brenner, 59, 2 men who interacted with Dylan in the days before he vanished, were arrested in July for felony gun crimes in Utah.
Oh, Tommy said, I think I was first.
You know, Tommy actually knew the name because on Friday night I had talked about the name of the channel and it was different. Yeah. And between Friday and now I've changed the channel name, but I have settled on it. It is, and that's what it's going to be.
Yeah, the inside scoop. They have not been charged in connection to Dylan's disappearance, but Dylan's parents believe Brenner, who was squatting on nearby property, knows what happened to their son.
James Brenner and Chase Venstra. Now, if you remember in the first video, we talked about James Brenner and the hat that he's wearing in this picture.
Yeah.
Is the hat that Dylan was wearing.
Identical, yep.
Yeah, and Dylan was very particular about his clothes. He wore pretty much the same clothes and the same shoes all the time. So it's very interesting. Yes, this man could have had an exact same hat, but interesting nonetheless.
Yep.
They believe boots belonging to Dylan that were found behind a dirt pile on his property with blood on them were put there by Brenner.
Brenner had admitted he's the one who took the boots out there, Candace Cooley, Dylan's mom, says in an interview with EastIdahoNews.com. He just looks shady.
He said he found them by the shed on the property, picked them up, and moved them by his camper somewhere, and then decided Dylan wasn't coming back for them.
It's a little
What?
fishy.
So, wait a minute. He said he found them by the shed, and then he picked them up and moved them by the camper. And then he did what? Moved them out by the dirt pile? When he decided, like, why would he move them out by the dirt pile? Because that's
And
where
why
the
would
boots were
he
found.
think he wasn't coming back for him to do that?
Yeah, why would he think they weren't coming back? But also, like,
Yeah.
why would you be putting your little grubby hands all over the boots to begin with? To move them around all those, like, why would you move them around? And again, with these boots, for anyone that didn't hear the first story, so Dylan wore the same exact kind of boots his whole like childhood. So his mom has collected, this is such a cute story, but
Yeah.
his mom has collected his boots as he grew out of them. So they were the same style, same kind. And every time he would grow out of them or wear out of them, his mom would get his old ones and then he would get a new pair. So he only had the one pair of boots. So it's not like he would have been running around out there in the desert
Right.
barefoot, right?
Yeah.
So very strange that this man would be like, oh, I found his one pair of shoes that he always wears.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to start moving them all around. Hey, Bridge Burner. So good to see you in here.
Yeah.
Hello, hello. And why would he look by the camper? He didn't leave them there.
Right.
Yeah, when people start talking like that and their stories don't add up, you got to start questioning things. Also, so the parents, and I don't know if you've included this in here, but the parents, so the parents said that they think James Brenner obviously is one of the number one suspects, right? But these parents were still so like, I don't know how they find it in their heart to say what they did, because something they said in the interview just struck me. I have a tear coming out of my eye thinking about this, but these parents sat there and said they don't think that James Brenner like plotted to do something to their son or like did something.
Yeah, they
like,
didn't think it was
purposely.
intentional. It's just something that happened.
Yeah, they were like, even in this interview, when they're talking about this man murdering their son, they were saying that they don't think it was intentional. They just think that it was like a heat of the moment and he got mad and things got out of hand.
Yeah.
The parents were still being so like understanding, I guess would be the word, which is, I can't imagine I thought somebody had killed my child, that I would be so understanding, but they are, and it kind of shook me that that's what they said in the interview. Found out they didn't fit him. You know, the hat did, but the boots didn't. That's a possibility.
Yeah.
People from that area usually don't have much, so maybe.
Yeah. Nicole and Justin Rounds, Dylan's dad, says investigators told them this information and argue Brenner's story doesn't make sense.
Exactly. I think James Catney, you snuck in here and I didn't say hello to you, so I want to make sure we stop and say hello. This story is really hard for me because my son's the same age. We covered a story recently on Friday about a girl that was my daughter's age, and now we're back to a story that's a child my son's age. It's just heartbreaking, these kids. Those boots were not in that desert during the rainstorm on Friday, the day before Dylan disappeared. Those boots didn't even have dust or mud on them, Cooley explains. I bet you Brenner put them there on Monday, 2 days after Dylan vanished, when he knew we were coming out, and he had to get rid of them. Now remember that. I want you to remember that particular line where it says that he got rid of these boots on Monday when he knew they were coming out and he had to get rid of them. Just keep that in mind about these boots, because there's going to be more things that the same kind of thing happens with.
In addition to learning about the boots, Dylan's parents say pings on their son's cell phone show it never left his property on that day he vanished, and the phone was found at the bottom of the Lucian Pond on June 18th.
See, that's information that they knew, but the parents knew that information, but they hadn't released it because they were told by the police not to release certain information, and now they've just decided, forget it, we're going to release what we want to release. But yeah, his phone, which that would just take your hope completely away.
Oh,
that he
no, right?
Right after that last phone call to my mother on May 28th, Dylan called Jim Brenner rounds, says. Then he went up to Jim Brenner's, the phone did, and was around there for a while. Then it went back to Dylan's place and then back to Jim Brenner's. So they were able to track the phone via the satellite.
The ping.
Yeah, from the pings. And it goes from where he was to Jim Brenner's place.
To his place, yeah.
It goes to Dylan's, and then it goes back to Jim Brenner's.
They just don't know if it was on his person or if it was his phone that was just going back and forth.
Yeah. So James Catney said, why are they worried about the boots and nothing else? So they're not just worried about the boots, but the boots are a really huge thing, because the boots not being wet or anything from the rainstorm means the boots were placed later, like after he had gone missing for several days already. And also they were his only pair of shoes. So you got to imagine if he's missing and he don't have his shoes, that's very
that terrain, it was like desert out there.
Yeah, and he's out in the desert. He's not going to be walking around barefoot in the desert. So, no. and the boots were found like back on the backside of the property behind a dirt pile. Why would his boots be there? So it's very odd placement. So that's why the boots were important.
Yeah. Then, according to Rounds and Cooley, Brenner stopped by the pond on his way to a friend's for lunch. That's where the cell phone was found.
Yeah. Brenner goes to the pond.
Yeah.
And there's the cell phone.
Oh, and I'm wearing his hat.
And I have his hat.
Yeah.
He placed himself at the pond. On the hat, though, I wonder if they could test for DNA, and if they have tested for DNA on that. I don't know. But then he could also say Dylan gave him the hat. So
true.
He placed himself at the pond the day Dylan disappeared, and Dylan's phone was found in the pond, Cooley explains. No unusual information or evidence of where Dylan could be was found on the phone, according to the parents. Gun and key fob found. This gets really weird.
Yeah.
When I was listening to this, I had to re-listen to it because I was like, what?
I know, me too. And Cooley and Brown say they're also worried about someone entering Dylan's trailer after he disappeared and placing one of his guns along with a key fob to his truck inside. So apparently they weren't there at one point, and now they happen to be there.
Yeah. Let's see here. So his parents explained that they came down looking for very specific things: his key fob to get into his truck and his pistol.
Yeah, because they
And
had to break into the truck, right, BB?
yeah,
Just to
they
get
had to
into
break,
it.
they ended up having to break into the truck. And then the pistol was always kept in its like case when he didn't have it on him. And it was kept on. You all live in campers and RVs, most of you.
Yeah.
So you know, like the sink on a camper, the bathroom camper sink RV for an
Yeah.
RV, it's small, right? It's not like it's
Mhm.
huge, you're not going to be able to find something. He would keep the case sitting on the edge of the sink there, and then he would keep the gun there. And so when they went, it wasn't there. And I think it wasn't just his mom and dad. There was someone else. There was another
Yeah.
person that was very close to him that was at the camper too, and the gun was not there. So either was the key fob, but then suddenly it reappeared a
Along
couple
with
of
the
days later.
boots. You know, like these items are coming back.
Yeah, so the boots reappeared back out by the hill, right? But the
Yeah.
key fob and the gun reappeared on the bathroom counter in the
In
camper
the RV. Yeah.
where he always kept it. Now think about who would know where he always kept his gun and his key fob, and who would have access to the camper.
Mm-hmm.
Is this James Brenner, who was living right next to where he was with this camper. So it's just, I'm also going, why is he putting his stuff back? He's like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't understand why he was putting the stuff back, but obviously
Like,
he was.
dumb criminals.
I'd get lost in a bustling metropolis like that. Right? There's so many places to get lost out
Yeah.
there.
When his parents visited the property the Monday after Dylan disappeared, they searched his camp trailer looking for his pistol.
Yeah, it's not like you walk in somebody's camper and you look for it and it's gone and you're just like, honestly, if you guys had a pistol in your camper and you couldn't find it, you would tear that camper apart and it wouldn't
Yeah.
take long to look
Mm-mm.
throughout your whole camper, right?
Right.
And this is a young kid that didn't have all that much in it. So Justin and I both walked in the camper and went through it all. On his bathroom sink was his gun case. There was no gun in it, Cooley says. We opened the medicine cabinet.
Nothing. The next day, Justin's sister cleaned out the bathroom for Dylan's grandma to use. No gun. The next day, the pistol was lying there with the clip out of it in broad daylight where we had all looked.
Yeah, it was the sister. I was trying to remember because I
Yeah,
knew it
who
was
it
like
was.
a family person that was really close.
Yeah.
So like, what? He's like a little raccoon, this James Brenner guy, like running around stealing things and then putting them
Yeah.
back at night. Like raccoons don't normally return things, but it seems like he's out at night just running around doing little
Right. Let
little
me put this
shit.
back. Let me put this back. Yeah.
Right? It's so weird. But if they searched and then the sister came in and cleaned the bathroom and it wasn't there, and then now all of a sudden it's there, that's so weird.
Mm.
But I wonder if the phone had already been found in the water by then.
That's a good question.
Because if the phone had already been found by then, he knew he couldn't dump it in the water. But there's so many hills he could have dug
Yeah.
You know what? He was probably already being watched by the police at that point.
Yeah.
The following day, Dylan's parents say they returned to the trailer and the truck key fob was placed in the same location as the gun. They were wiped down, according to Cooley, and police were unable to get any fingerprints off them. That's the part I find most interesting, is they couldn't even lift any of Dylan's fingerprints off of his own keys. So
You know,
that lets you know.
I don't understand where they can't use like satellite surveillance or something, you know, where they can see who went in at that time.
Yeah. It's probably too far away with it being like if there was a car that pulled up or a four-wheeler that pulled up, they would probably be able to see that, but maybe not a
Yeah.
person. And since he was close enough to the property, he was probably going in on foot. I can
True.
picture him in like one of those
Oh yeah, like a
one of those
That's
bush
good.
suits that
Yeah.
looks like a bush, and he's like running around, and all of a sudden he's a
Yeah.
bush on the ground, and then he stands up and he runs a little. That's what I picture him going over to
Right.
put this stuff off like.
That key fob and gun were not there originally. They came back and would put back underneath our noses, Khalid explained.
See, that's the part as a parent that I'd be going to jail.
Oh
And
yeah.
I would, if stuff started reappearing of my son's and I already knew the phone had been found, I knew he was probably gone.
And
I'd be going over to James Brenner's and just beating the man down. I'd end up in jail. I'm sorry, I
think
would.
he was still squatting there at the time when all this was happening,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
So you
Oh,
got
we got
something
some.
in the chat.
Yeah. We got some spam. Hold on one second.
Yeah.
Thank you, RV. Be it RV. Yeah. Did we remove them? Yeah, here, let's remove them.
Were you able to?
All right. They're gone. Should be completely gone now.
I was going to say, I know we are. For what it said.
Yeah, I know we are. All right.
Yeah.
All righty. James said, admit it, you girls did it. Not me. It wasn't me. It was James Brenner.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Did it come back in? Oh.
Me and the button. Hold on. I got to find us. Unable to lift fingerprints underneath our noses. The next one should be right here. Activity at the shed.
Yeah.
There we go.
Okay. The parents say one point of interest in the investigation is a shed near Brenner's camper. A few days after Dylan disappeared, Cully and Browns say they, along with law enforcement, watched Brenner spend time in the shed.
He's just out there hanging out.
Yeah.
Brenner pulled the grain truck out on his own and cleaned it.
And they're
He was
just
cleaning the. Why are the police just sitting back watching him clean the grain truck when they knew that Dylan's last thing he was doing was backing the grain truck into the shed? Like, that's literally what he told his grandmother on the phone. So why would the police sit back and just watch that happen? I invited them to subscribe to my channel.
They may have a bucket, Tommy. Be careful.
I saw. He was cleaning the shed with law enforcement and us there watching him. Cooley says, I saw him take out 4 garbage bags and put them in the back of his pickup. Why are they just sitting and watching?
I know. This is like unbelievable to me.
They knew, like, the last call this boy made, he was on the phone with his grandmother and he said, it's gonna rain. I gotta go take the grain and put it in the shed. This is the grain truck going in the shed, and this is the man cleaning up the crime scene. And that, okay, I'm confused why the police would watch this happen.
And they're just watching it all go down.
So they pretty much watched him clean the evidence out. Yeah, that's
Yep.
what it's looking like. Nothing suspicious there. Yeah, the bags were him.
Yeah. I'm afraid of that too.
Yeah. Howdy all. I'm here listening and eating dinner. Hello, Char of
Hey,
Heart.
Char of Heart.
Yeah, that is unreal. Can you imagine being his dad or his mom and having to sit there? Like, I would go to jail. There's no way I could sit there. There's
Yeah.
nobody to hold me back.
I would follow him and find out where is he going.
Yeah, he could have had a body in the grain or just buried him under the grain. It wasn't even his. That's the worst part about this whole thing is that James Brenner, if you guys remember from the first part of the story, is this wasn't James Brenner's property.
Mm-mm.
So the shed was on a man's property and that property was right next to the property that Dylan Rounds owned. And Dylan Rounds had permission from the man who owned the grain shed the shed to park the grain truck in there and to use the shed. Okay. From the man who owned the property. James
Apparently, Brenner's trailer or wherever he lived, caught fire, burned down or something. That's how he ended up there.
Yeah, where James Brenner was living before had caught fire and he had to get out of wherever he was living before. And so the man who owned this property where the shed was had agreed to let James Brenner put his trailer there if James Brenner kept an eye on the property for bad people. Had nothing to do with Dylan. He was just supposed to watch the property and make sure that bad people didn't go on it. Okay, so why he was in the grain shed messing with the grain truck or any of that stuff, it blows my mind because it's not even his. He had nothing to do with any of that.
Mm-mm.
Sorry, I'm passionate about this case.
And that's shed.
This is the shed. And one of the interviews they did it with something Diesel. Oh, what is his name here on?
It's in here. I'm trying to remember too. Diesel Brothers or
it's something Diesel. He's a popular YouTuber on here, but they've trusted him to come out and search for Dylan several times. He flies helicopters and he does a lot of repair stuff and he helps out when there's missing people. And so he came out and did an interview with them and he sat in here with them and they did the interview from in this shed. And that again broke my heart because I felt like they probably feel the closest to him in there because they feel like that's where this happened. They feel like that's where their son lost his life. And
Heavy D, Diesel Brothers.
Heavy D. Yeah, Heavy D with the Diesel Brothers. But yeah, it's just heartbreaking. Hey, Chrissy Mama and Lucky Dog Productions moderator.
Mm-hmm.
Just anybody that just came in, there is a pinned comment at the top. That is a new vlog channel that I'm going to be doing where I tell my story and my journey and all of the things that I've been through. So if you're interested in that kind of content, it'll be quick vlog videos. Please hit that subscribe button on that channel up there. All right. Here you go.
Brenner was charged in Utah on June 23rd with 3 counts of being a restricted person in possession of a firearm and has not returned to the property.
Tommy, I just now saw your comment. Look at that beautiful architecture. He's the one that went and recovered that couple's RV. And yes, exactly. That's who he is. When the couple went missing in the RV and then they passed away, the husband passed away and the wife, I think, lived, him and his team went out and got the RV back. He's done a lot of that kind of stuff. Heavy D and Adventures with a Purpose are two very good channels to give a subscription to, just because it simply helps it helps support the good work they're doing.
And they find them fast. They're real quick.
Yeah. And like Heavy D, he came out here and he did the flying of the helicopter. He took a drone that the police station or the police would not do. So they do a lot of the stuff that the police won't do. They'll jump in and handle that quickly, which I think is pretty cool of these YouTube channels to be doing.
Yeah.
He's the one that went. Oh yeah, we read that one. Okay, and then there was another comment I thought I seen. Who paid the police department to watch? That's the question. You know, they said the police department, I think, is 2 hours away.
Yeah.
And it's a very small town police department. So, you know, I think in that case, there's not a whole lot that can be done unless they're like, I don't know. I just feel like this whole thing was botched from the very beginning. These small town police departments that have these big things like this need to immediately call in backup. I don't know why they don't. They need to immediately call the FBI and be like, look, we ain't dealt with something like this. Need you out here. And not try to be the big saviors, I think is where things kind of go wrong.
Yeah.
Cooley and Rounds recently visited the shed and say it was full of trash and empty beer cans. He wasn't cleaning up garbage that day, Cooley says. Whatever he took out in those bags was to hide right under law enforcement noses. And see, I also wonder, since he didn't own the property, why didn't they just call the property owner and say, hey, he's out here doing this. Can we have your permission to look in those bags?
Yeah.
Because
you think they would have looked in that shed at the very start to go through those bags, you know?
And maybe he was moving stuff around, and so then all of a sudden he had everything that in the grain bag or in the grain shed, and then he was cleaning it up, so it wasn't there originally, but it was now.
Right.
They could have simply made a phone call to the property owner, because the property owner ended up kicking James Brenner off of the property and all that stuff. So obviously he's not involved in this, and he would have been like, he's doing what? Yeah, go check those bags. He could have given permission. It would have been as simple as that. I don't know why that wasn't done. So James Brenner's camper.
Look how far.
Right here.
Yeah. And where Dylan's boots were found. Look how far out that is.
Why would you walk out there and throw boots in the back of that? Why would you do that? What would make your brain be like, oh, this kid's missing and I have his boots. I'm going to go throw them behind this dirt pile. Unless you did something nefarious. Did you see that? I used a really big word. Sorry. But yeah, I don't understand why anyone would do that. I love that background though. It is so beautiful, and I could see why Dylan loved it out there.
Yeah.
Was it Sheriff Roscoe P?
Okay.
It seems like they'd have probable cause to check out the bags without permission, I would think.
Yeah.
You wouldn't go out there and then come back barefoot. Very true. Is that a grave where the boots are? No. I'm sure they've already looked into that. It wasn't freshly dug. That's actually one of the things they're looking for, or trying to look for, is freshly dug areas. But that's pretty unsuccessful, because the way that it's such flat desert-like land, when the wind blows, it disturbs what they've already searched.
The parents are frustrated that Brenner was not taken into custody that day as he was wanted on an outstanding criminal warrant. Rather, he was arrested weeks later. He has not been charged in connections to Dylan's disappearance.
I'm glad he was at least arrested, but
Yeah.
the the Box Elder County, Utah Sheriff's Office has been the lead agency on the case, but Cooley and Rounds are frustrated with the department. I think it was the other night, or on Friday night, we were discussing the other case out of Truckee.
Yeah.
Someone was like, "Are you serious with these names?" And it's like, you kind of, I don't know, Box Elder sounds the same way, where you're going to not have much confidence in them.
Yeah. Like Skidmore, it's
Yeah, Skidmore, same thing. Maybe a
Yeah.
cave back in the back mountain area. Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure
Yeah,
there's
probably.
caves and wells and all kinds of things.
Yeah.
That's why they really need somebody to confess to what's happened. There's just too much area to search.
Mm-hmm. They believe mistakes have been made in the investigation and are calling for another agency to take over.
How can you say that they've done their job when they didn't arrest the felon on day one? Cooley says. When the key fob was found, when the gun was found, when the boots were found, they literally laughed at us and mocked us in the desert.
In a statement to EastIdahoNews.com, Box Elder County Sheriff Deputy Cade Palmer says the sheriff's office recently requested an independent review of the investigation.
Roy and Becky, you said get the bloodhounds out, people on foot, ATV, and horses. They've done that. They did do that. They've also, like I said, Heavy D came in with a helicopter. They used a drone that had special equipment on it that's like a military type drone. Heavy D is ex-military, so he has a little more pull in certain areas. But I think the drone they used had some kind of thing that could pick up on certain stuff that would have helped locate a dead body. And it's such a vast area. And like I
Yeah.
said, when the wind blows, it changes the landscape. So literally you could search a 1 mile area and turn around the next day and that 1 mile area looks completely different. And you may have an exposed area now because the wind blew and you can see there was a dig hole there. So it's just constantly changing. It's so hard to keep up on.
Mm-hmm.
I like what Hitch Up and Toe said. They said the parents should just shoot them, and don't think that the sheriff's office would be able to pin it on them.
Yeah.
Probably wouldn't be able to solve the case. I'd try Heavy D, but not the local police. Oh, I'd trust Heavy D, but not the local police. Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Forget all that. Send in a jogger. They're great at finding bodies. That's so true. You know how many people that have gone out jogging have been traumatically affected for the rest of their lives because they've run across a body? Very, very true. I think it's sad that these parents have pretty much accepted what happened to their sons.
So much.
Yeah. Department of Public Safety, Weber County Sheriff's Office, and Weber County's Attorney's Office investigators reviewed the investigative work that has been done.
They established credibility in the Box Elder County Sheriff's Office investigation with substantial and pertinent evidence, Palmer said. Locating Dylan Brown's, protecting the integrity of the investigation, and our ability to impose criminal responsibility upon anyone involved in his disappearance are our utmost priorities.
Yeah. Palmer says evidence supports that a homicide occurred, but declined to answer specific questions about the boots, key, fob, pistol, and shed. So I'm going to say a homicide definitely occurred, but to all
Yeah.
of your questions, yeah, I'm not going to answer any of them.
Please keep in mind that anyone that publicity released, oh, now I'm getting tongue tied, specific information related to this active criminal investigation could negatively impact our ability to successfully prosecute any individuals associated with Dylan Brown's disappearance, Palmer says.
And that's why the parents were staying quiet, is because the police told them if you release, information that it could affect it and we can
Yeah.
end up not being able to prosecute him. So they're sitting here quietly, not releasing, that the phone's been found, and not talking about the fact that the gun reappeared. The only thing they released at the beginning, the parents, was that the thing about the boots. That's the only thing they released at the beginning, really. And, they didn't want to affect anyone being arrested, and they wanted to make sure justice was served. But nothing, like, wouldn't you start releasing information if the man's over there cleaning out the shed and the police are just sitting there watching?
Taking out bags. Yeah. Hitch up and toe. No, it wasn't easy.
What's next? Brenner remains in the Weber County Jail and has spoken with Dylan's grandmother and father on the phone, which I find very odd.
Yeah.
He maintains he had nothing to do with the disappearance, according to Rounds. So the man who's in jail and the man they think is, to blame for this, actually had I'm just going to say it, the balls to call Dylan's father and grandmother and speak to both of them from jail. That's unreal to me.
My mom called Brenner out on some things about the gun, the key fob, the boots, and the shed. And he said, well, I can't talk to you anymore. I'm going to have to talk to my lawyer.
The family says they're sharing this information so it will lead to answers. Dylan's family plans to fly more drones over his property and in Lucin again, hoping they find their son.
The reward for information about Dylan Brown's disappearance had been increased to $200,000. Cooley said members of the Heavy D Diesel brothers recently doubled the previous amount.
Yeah, during Heavy D's interview with them, they had talked about how much the reward amount was for, and that they had somebody help them set some very strict, because like whenever you put out a reward for missing persons or anything like that, you get a lot of cuckoo like calls saying, oh, this or oh, that, because they're trying to get the money. And so they had somebody that put in very strict regulations with the reward money. So they felt very comfortable that any leads that they were getting based on that reward money would be solid leads. And so Heavy D during that interview said, then I'm going to double it. What do you think? Do you want me to do that? Are you comfortable? Because he didn't want to make it such a large one that they would start getting all those crazy calls, right?
Yeah.
And they said, yeah, we have it perfectly set where we won't get those crazy calls. So if you want to do that, that would be helpful. And I thought that was pretty amazing for him to do that. Oh, thank you so much, Tommy. Tommy said BB3 has 5 followers. but there are 11 in the chat, and you drop my new link. So there's a vlog channel that I'm going to be doing. So if you head on over and click that link and subscribe, that would be great. I hope he gets caught and winds up with Daryl Brooks as a defense attorney. Age 20, height 5'10", weight 160 pounds, eyes brown, hair brown, $200,000 reward. For information directly leading to the safe return or arrest and conviction of, of person or persons responsible for the disappearance of Dylan Rounds. Yeah, the very specific wording so that they can't just be like, oh, well, you know, that led you here, so I get money now. But,
Yeah.
Who's taking the calls? Surely not the local police. No, not the local police. The mother is actually handling a lot of this. Nettie, did you include the Facebook page on here by chance?
No, I didn't.
All right, let me see. I'll try to find that before we end this as well. There's a Facebook page that the mother said for anyone that's wanting to follow this closely. She has a Facebook page, and only her page. It's called Find Dylan Rounds, and if you just put in Dylan Rounds official on Facebook, and then there's 30K people on that site, but it's Find Dylan Rounds, and it's the official page, not any of the other ones, but just that one. Look and make sure you're getting the official one. She has to approve you joining. The mother approves you joining. She also approves any posts that are being posted. So any information that's being put out on that Facebook page, she's approving it. So it's factual if it's being posted on that page. And then I believe she's handling all the calls the same way. So she's getting these calls. So the mother has had it with like the police. So is the father. And they're pretty much handling it themselves, the case.
Yeah.
That's it. So Nettie, what did you think of all of the updates?
I truly feel that they're getting very close of finishing this case. What I didn't realize that wasn't in the story is they're saying Brenner is the prime suspect.
Yeah.
And also the boots, which I didn't realize wasn't in there. There was blood in the boots. Do you remember seeing that, BB, on the research?
Yeah, on the current story, yes. Yeah. When they first released everything, they didn't say that there was blood in the boots. They are now saying there was blood in the boots, which between the blood in the boots and the phone, you know, I get why the parents believe that there's no, you know, hope that they'll find him alive. I just can't imagine being the parents and trying to, I mean, all they want is him back, like his body at this point. And it's literally going to take whoever did it striking a deal. You know, if I tell you where I put him, then I get less time or something like that. That's what I think it's going to take for them to recover his body. And I hate to speak like that, but I think the parents at this point are kind of already leaning towards that's what's going on. I don't
Yeah.
think they're expecting, with everything that's happened. And what's sad is they knew all of this almost immediately,
Mm-hmm.
but were told to keep their mouth closed about all of it from the police. So I think that's something that's so positive about social media.
Yeah.
If you think back to like when YouTube wasn't a big thing, or Instagram or Facebook or all of those things, they may have talked to a newspaper or the news station, but they'd have gotten 5 minutes on the news and who all was watching the news, right? But nowadays, they talk to a YouTube channel, and that YouTube channel shares it with this YouTube channel, and then this YouTube channel picks up on that YouTube, and all these
Yeah.
YouTube channels start sharing his story, and the information spreads like wildfire and quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And had they been able to share that information in the beginning, they might have gotten a lot closure quicker. And I think that's sad that the police told them not to, and I don't think the police really were doing what they needed to do.
I can only imagine what they're going through. All of this, that, what they had to hold in, and then just trying to get closure, trying to just bring him home. And seeing Brenner, you know, throw those bags in and get rid of them. It's just, and he wasn't cleaning the shed because obviously you saw all this stuff that's still in there. So it's like, it's unbelievable. That's got to be heartbreaking.
That was another thing that was interesting, I think, that they talked about. So in the beginning, everyone thought that Dylan was living on the property. And they had said, that was something they wanted to clear up too, was that their son wasn't living on the property, that he was staying down there doing the farming, but when he would just stay down there and do like the day's work, and then he would get a couple days work in, and then he would go back home to either his mom, his dad's, or his grandma and grandpa's. That he wasn't living on the property necessarily because it didn't have the water and electricity and all of the things it needed yet. So they were very used to seeing him really often. So again, that's just another thing that kind of makes you go, oh, yeah. that. And then I wonder,
makes your heart sink.
Yeah, and I wonder if they're ever going to get back to a normal life either, or what would be normal after something like this. Because as of right now, ever since he disappeared, I mean, when they've done interviews and things like that, you can see that they've got a camper down there now, and that they're pretty much camped out down there on the property, just trying to solve this and find their son. And I can't pinpoint exactly how long ago it disappeared, but it's been quite some time. And you got to wonder, and they're divorced. They're not married, and they're spending all of this time together.
Yeah.
I can't imagine that whole scenario for them.
Yeah. I'm glad they came together, because you can truly see how emotional it's been for both of them. And they have the support of one another, to try to get through this.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing to see them come together. But I think that's something that they were saying, that they've been able to be close even since the divorce, which is amazing. I love seeing that with divorced families. That is a beautiful thing to witness. Char of Hearts said, please don't forget to hit the thumbs up. Thank you. Roy and Becky said that police department probably needs investigated as well.
Probably.
He probably did. He probably came up on some illegal stuff going on. I think him and Brenner got in an argument. I think maybe Brenner was drinking, or maybe, Brenner thought he had more say so over the shed and the property than he did, because I don't know, he was squatting on the property, but he really didn't own the property. So maybe he was starting to get a little too comfortable and decided to
Mhm.
tell Dylan what Dylan was gonna do, and Dylan was like, "No, I'm not." And you know what I mean? And
And he's a
when
pretty
they,
good sized man compared to Dylan.
yeah, all it would take is like, and this is just speculation, okay, 100% speculation, but like literally all it would take is like he shoved him and Dylan fell back the wrong way and hit his head on the tractor, or
Yeah,
hit his
or a
head on the
rock.
rock, or, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
something. And I think that's kind of what the parents were alluding to as well, is that they don't
Yeah.
think that it was done purposely or that he did it maliciously. They just think that it happened, and then, oh crap, and then he covered it up.
Right.
Either way, though, it's wrong. So Brunner liked the hat a little too much. You never know.
Yeah, he was showing it off.
All right. So Nettie, you just had a video come out. I know that I watched your other video, What's Up With That, about doctor's appointments, and I could not agree with you more. I love your What's Up With That series. It is very,
Thank you. We're really enjoying doing them. We're trying to put them out like in between our travel videos. So yeah,
Mhm.
Mal's having a blast, obviously. So we're having a great time doing
I
them.
love it. If you haven't seen that video, go check it out and comment on it. Let her know if you can agree or if you've been through any of that same stuff, because I know I
Yeah.
have. And then you just put out another one yesterday, right?
That one yesterday, I think it was What's Up With That was yesterday, right?
It was
I
What's
lose
Up With That?
track. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was yesterday. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it yesterday? Oh, the doctor appointments? Yeah, I'll say it was the doctor appointments that we put out yesterday on What's Up With That. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, so go check that out if you haven't checked that out
Mhm.
yet. Go check that out and let Nettie know if you agree with the What's Up With That about doctor's
Yeah.
plan.
Oh my
It was
gosh.
pretty standard stuff. I think we all are like,
Yeah.
but
It's
as usual,
basically the Malisms, but longer form. They're about 5 to 10 minutes, depending. So Mal gets to say a lot more than he does on his shorts. So he's really excited about that.
I love the way you edit it too. Like there was something you said that was in the video, but that showed up at the beginning of the video.
Yeah,
But
we
just the
try
way
to put like a little teaser, of what's in the video, and then we go along with the rest of it. Yeah.
yeah, the way you said it, it was the perfect beginning to the video, and it definitely sucked me in. So I absolutely love the way you're editing it too. So
Thank you. I really appreciate that. Well,
all
we may
right,
end up
well,
with another update on this case. So if we do, we'll bring it. And again, me and BB love it. If you guys want to put any suggestions in the chat, we definitely love suggestions on anything that you may want us to cover.
definitely. Even if they're like longer cases or cases that have gone on through the years, let us
We'll
know,
do a
because we like
series.
yeah, we'll do a series on them. So
Yeah.
you can always comment below, or you can email or message one of us. We would love that. And again, don't forget to hit the subscribe button on the pinned comment. I would love to have you over on the new channel.
Yeah.
There'll be a video coming up in a day or two on that channel. So stay tuned for
Yay.
that. All right. Well, wishing you all much kindness and much love.
And we're sending love your way.
Thanks for
Good night,
joining us,
y'all.
everyone. Bye.
Bye.